Hey, Dragon Ball has had its share of divisive movies, but one that always stands out in recent memory is Resurrection F, Frieza's return from the grave and his desperate attempt to reclaim pride shattered on Namek. This story has been adapted so many times with results ranging from forgettable to surprisingly strong, yet somehow I never experienced Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's version of this arc, and honestly, I think I like it. There are creative choices here that immediately stood out, choices that make this feel less like the Goku and Vegeta show and more like a spiritual continuation of Namek. Small touches, added dialogue, and moments of personality give this DLC a sense of care that first one didn't fully capture. It feels like the dev team learned from the past and tried to build something with a little bit more weight and a little bit more presence. A new Power Awakens Part 2 released on November 17th, 2020 as the game's second DLC, and compared to that first one, this one really has some substance to it. There's real content, real effort. It all begins with a clever setup, one that assumes you've cleared the main game's subquests. Now, one quest in particular seeds Goku to New Namek where he uses Purunga to revive Frieza, just so he can challenge him again. One more clash with the Tyrant who pushed him further than almost anyone else. The moment Frieza returns to life, Goku hunts him down and the two immediately collide, giving Goku a chance to fully encounter the forms he skipped on Namek. Part of a larger collection of quests meant to bring old villains back into the fold to give them a shot of redemption or at least a new direction. But for Frieza, redemption was never in his vocabulary. After the fight, Goku spares him, as he always does, and Frieza retreats, already plotting the revenge he'll one day bring back to the Earth. Now the DLC begins an unknown amount of time after the events of Part 1. Goku and Vegeta now are deep in their divine training. Their movements are sharper now, their energy is much calmer. Their focus turned inward as they begin tapping into something beyond mortal strength. Yes, Whis brings up the same lessons as before, but the fight with him is noticeably different this time. He's faster, more explosive, almost playful in how effortlessly he outclasses them, but little by little, punch by punch, the two Saiyans push past their limits once again and ascend. Super Saiyan Blue finally makes its appearance in this game, and it looks stunning. The color, the aura, the way the light rolls across the form, it might be the best Blue has ever looked in a Dragon Ball game. And alongside that ascension comes a new ceiling. The level cap now stretches all the way to level 300. Meanwhile, out in the vastness of space, Frieza has been stewing in humiliation. Ever since his defeat on Namek, the loss has rotted in the back of his mind like a wound that refuses to close. Now revived and surrounded by his restored army, he's been forcing himself through brutal training, all with one goal in mind: revenge. Normally this arc takes place much later in the timeline, but Kakarot's version plays with it chronologically a bit. When we cut to Gohan training with Piccolo, he mentions he's been slacking due to schoolwork, and since we know thanks to Part 1 that Pan doesn't exist yet, this has to be during his high school or early college years. Piccolo scolds him, urging him to maintain discipline, and then they both feel it. A pressure dropping from the sky, a terrifying familiar key flooding the atmosphere. Frieza has returned. The Warriors of Earth gathering, the game prompts you to form two separate teams. And here's where the DLC adds a bit of charm. Your team choices actually trigger unique dialogue between your party members and Frieza's soldiers. Very minor touch, but it makes the encounter feel more alive and reactive and surprisingly personal. Horde battles make their debut in this DLC, throwing you into swarms of enemies at once, and this is a great tactic to make Frieza's army finally feel like an army. A wall of bodies rushing you, firing blasts from every angle. It sells the scale of his forces better than any previous game. Now what's surprising is how strong they've become. Their training under Frieza has paid off. They're not pushovers anymore. The Z warriors feel the pressure, and that immediately raises the terrifying question: if the soldiers grew this much, how much stronger did Frieza himself become? Soon enough, Frieza arrives on the battlefield and decides to shake off the rust by taking on the heroes. Much of this clash happens off screen, but when we return, it's implied the group pushed him all the way to his final form. It's a cool little detail, though I would have loved to see Gotenks taunting Frieza or a real rematch between Gohan and the Tyrant. Moments that could have added some character spice. Right before Gohan and Piccolo are killed, Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, and Whis arrive, setting the stage for this final act. And I have to say, this DLC really shines here. The cutscenes and cinematography are so well executed, it makes you wonder what happened with that first DLC. Frieza also evolves here into a brand new form. Golden Frieza, a transformation so striking, so unapologetically vile that it almost feels designed to justify bringing him back yet again. Now in the original source material, Frieza's downfall wasn't a lack of power but impatience. He rushed into battle without allowing his body to acclimate to this new form. and that reckless ambition crushed his stamina, creating the opening Goku and Vegeta needed to defeat him. Kakarot doesn't really spell that out here. Instead, it's left mostly implied, framed through Whis as simple truth that Goku has just surpassed him. And while that does streamline the narrative, it also stands down some of the tragedy behind Frieza's failure. Still, I'll give this DLC genuine credit for one important choice. It completely avoids adapting that infamous moment where Goku lowers his guard and gets taken out by that laser. I understand what that scene was meant to convey, but personally I never loved it.
I'm afraid not.
What?
Time's up. Beat it, Kakarot.
Aw, come on, Vegeta. Things were just starting to get interesting.
You only have yourself to blame. You should have stopped playing around ages ago. Now move aside.
Seriously? Oh, come on.
What's this? Vegeta, you wish to fight me? If you think you can defeat me, you're more delusional than ever! What is this? No, not you too!
That's right. You didn't know, did you? Yes, it's true. I too can become a Super Saiyan, a warrior of legend. And now, on top of that, I have the power of a god! Well, are you ready to continue, or do you need a moment? Come on, let's see if the almighty Lord Frieza has what it takes to defeat me!
I'll admit I'm surprised by your transformation, but this changes nothing! I am still far beyond you! Allow me to show you the true power of Frieza, the Emperor of the Universe!
Bursting into the fight for his turn against the Galactic Tyrant is Vegeta. For years, he lived under Frieza's rule, stripped of dignity, forced to serve, powerless to stop the destruction of his people, and every day getting reminded that. And every blow here exchanged carries that weight with him. Now that balance has finally shifted, Vegeta stands far removed from the broken prince he once was. In this godly form, he overwhelms Frieza with frightening ease, hurling him across the battlefield as if the years of frustration and humiliation are being answered by every strike. The power gap is undeniable, and for once Frieza is the one that's made small. And yet there's still the lingering frustration beneath this spectacle. Part of me still wanted Vegeta to be the one that ends it, to finally claim the revenge he's been denied since the Saiyans were erased, since he got shot through the heart on Namek. The victory feels within his grasp, only for it to be taken from him yet again. He dominates Frieza, stands over him, ready to erase the tyrant once and for all, and then Frieza does what Frieza always does. He blows up the planet. And this scene is gorgeous, in a horrifying way. The earth cracks apart, collapsing inwards. Every location we walked through, explored, or fought in is shown being erased. Every living being is wiped out in an instant. Only Goku, Whis, Beerus, and Frieza drifting into space remain. And with the Dragon Balls gone, it seems like Frieza has finally won. But then Whis offers Goku a simple option, a do-over. The way he frames it is perfect. He doesn't describe Earth's destruction as a failure of power, he calls it a failure of discipline, a failure of intelligence. The Saiyans' fatal mistake here was their arrogance, lowering their guard, underestimating Frieza, prioritizing their warrior pride over common sense. Whis' intervention becomes a divine correction, a reminder that strength isn't enough. Awareness, restraint, and strategy all matter just the same. It's a lesson meant not just for Goku, but for Vegeta too. Your fist can only carry you so far if your judgment isn't keeping pace. The doomed fate of Earth rewinds in an instant, time folding back on itself like a page being flipped, and with that second chance, Goku wastes no time. He launches forward, cutting through the air to intercept Frieza before the Tyrant can fire the shot that would have ended everything. This leads us into our second major showdown with Frieza, and let me tell you, he hits like a damn truck. Even at a max level, he's caught me slipping more than once, deleting half my health bar in a single swing. It's one of those fights that reminds you just how terrifying Frieza really can be. All that rage, all that pride, and all that humiliation from Namek sharpened into something lethal here. But eventually, the Tyrant falls. Frieza is defeated once again and sent back to hell, screaming in frustration as he plummets into that golden, ironically angelic limbo that tortures him more than any prison ever could. Life on Earth steadies itself and Goku and Vegeta return to their training regime. And you'd think the DLC would end here. Clean arc, clean conclusion. But surprisingly it doesn't. Now during his solo training on Earth, Goku stumbles a surviving soldier from Frieza's army, a small narrative thread that spins into something surprisingly meaningful detour. The soldier sends Goku on a chain of fetch quests, gathering supplies while he secretly searches for the Dragon Balls, planning to revive Frieza. Now it starts off comedic, a little goofy, but slowly shifts into something more reflective, because by the end of this questline, the soldier realizes something Goku understood decades ago. Earth is worth protecting, that it's the people who are worth fighting for, and that bringing Frieza back would only endanger everything he's come to appreciate. It's one of those nice, subtle Dragon Ball messages that slips in between the chaos. Even someone raised under Frieza's tyranny can unlearn fear, can choose kindness, and can change. But in true Goku fashion, and he uses the Dragon Balls anyway, he revives Frieza. He wants another challenge. He wants to use Frieza to push himself even further ahead. But before Frieza can so much think about revenge, Beerus and Whis arrive. Whis is disappointed, almost parental, reminding the Goku that he's learned nothing from the universe nearly ending. Beerus, on the other hand, is far less gentle. He warns Frieza that if he threatens Earth and by extension threatens his access to gourmet food, that the God of Destruction will personally deal with him. Frieza, understanding his place in the cosmic food chain, reluctantly backs down, but, and this is important, he does not reform. He doesn't smile, he doesn't soften, he doesn't make peace here. He simply returns to training with his men, fueled by raw hatred and a stubborn hope that one day he'll kill Goku. Now after that, a few new subquests open up. One has Jais attempting to avenge the Ginyu Force's brutal beatdown by taking revenge on Vegeta and Trunks. A fun little callback that adds some charm. Another has Goku and Vegeta facing Zarbon and Dodoria, recontextualizing in this new timeline where power levels have become absurd. All of this steadily builds towards the new, true final encounter, a last boss fight against a newly powered up Frieza. For once, Goku and Vegeta don't argue about who gets to take the lead. They both fight together here side by side, a symbol of how far they've come since Namek. The teamwork becomes the resolution to this DLC, the culmination of Frieza's hatred and their intertwined destinies. And your reward for all of this? A reoccurring Frieza boss battle, similar to Beerus in that first DLC, where he becomes a permanent, ever-evolving challenge that you can just keep fighting on again and again. Now this DLC compared to the others is undeniably one of the weaker links. It's not bad, it's lighter, a little thinner around the edges. Now part 2 landed with a mixed but generally positive reception, settling around a 7.0 from players on Metacritic. There was room for improvement and they did learn from that with the later DLCs. Some would argue that the story that this DLC adapts is loosely built, and that the game would mirror just that. Yet I genuinely appreciate how it brings a slice of the modern Dragon Ball's landscape into Kakarot's world. Super Saiyan Blue has never looked this beautiful, this polished, this alive, and while Part 2 offers more variety and more narrative than Part 1, it still leans on familiar combat loops and never quite fleshes out the world with the side content emotional texture that the other DLCs nailed. But even with those flaws, A New Power Awakens Part 2 is still a worthy chapter in this post-Boo journey. Especially for the players who came to relive DBZ's legacy through fresh eyes, or for the fans who simply wanted one more round with Frieza. One last echo of that rivalry that shaped an entire era. Now it's not perfect, but it's a reminder that even the smaller chapters matter, because together, that's what makes this journey so much fun, and this retrospective feel whole. How do you guys feel about this DLC? How do you guys feel about Golden Frieza? Drop a comment down below, I'd love to hear it all. If you guys are new here, this is one of my side projects of going through Dragon Ball games that I missed while growing up, and just yapping about them for a little bit. I started playing this game chronologically with the Bardock DLC and have been going up since then. Anyways, leave a like if you liked it, sub if you want to see more. I'll see y'all next time. Drop a metal cooler down below. Have a damn good one. Peace.